just about to go under a tunnel. See if I can give it a little bit. Yeah, we got a pop. We got a pop. Guys, what's happening? So as you can see, we're out in the Ford Focus RS. I did mention in my walk around video that I was going to do this video and put it in just so I can give you a little insight into what it's like to own this car, or if you're interested in buying one of these cars, I might be able to help you out with a certain thing. I might mention something that somebody else hasn't mentioned. So I'm going to try and cover everything, all the basics, the interior, the audio, the speed, what it's like, blah 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 blah. So first off, I'm going to start with the interior. What do I think of the interior? It's fine. It's obviously not going to be as glamorous as, say, something like an Audi or a Mercedes, but it does the job. It's got plenty of toys and features all around, which I'm happy with. The seats, when I first got it, I thought I had made the wrong choice. As you can see, I've got the RS Recaro bucket seats, and when I first got it, it took us, I think it was about 230 miles to get home, and by the end of the journey, my neck and my back was just so I can't even tell you the pain that I was going through. But now, after putting quite a few miles on the car, I think I've adapted to the comfort, and there are comfortable seats. When I did first test drive one of these cars, they just had the standard seats in, and they're really comfortable. They're also Recaros, they're pretty much a standard seat, but they've got the side bolsters to pretty much hold you in. I know people are probably thinking these are quite an expensive optional extra, but it's whether you wanted to pay it or not. Personally, I think these look the best seats. I'm only roughly 5'6", so somebody that's taller, you might want to adjust them. You can buy some frames. If you watch Fezza, he got some frames and he lowered his, but with me just being a small guy, this is the perfect height for me. The clutch, awesome. The gearbox, fantastic. It just goes in so seamlessly. You can get a short shift by Mount Tune, which is quite expensive, as all their products are. Why you'd want a short shift in this car, I do not know. We've got a nice lovely Bentley Continental extras there, if you can see that on the side. Back to the gearbox, like I said, the gears go in fine. It's probably one of the best gearboxes that I've actually used. I have played about with short shifts before in friends' cars that have done the modification and stuff in their cars, or things like Mk3 and MR2s that have a little short shift anyways. But personally, I'm not really a fan. This gearbox though, fantastic. This is another little thing that I should really put in. In the UK here, we've got loads of speed bumps where you go over, and they're quite severe, lots of them, but the car handles them really well. I'm just about to go over one now. Yeah, that felt pretty good to me. The brakes, these are by far the best brakes that I've ever used on a car. I have driven cars with 4 pots before, but these are, I don't know if it's because they're brand new or what, but these brakes are absolutely fantastic. I gave my friend Adam a shot of the car the other night. He's had cars with 4 pots, one being the Seat Leon Cupra R, and he was really impressed. He was like, wow, these are good brakes. And the R, if you do want 4 pots, it's the RS3 and the A45 to go for. For some reason, I don't know why, but with the Golf R, you don't get 4 pots. I don't think VW are really a fan of putting 4 pots on their cars. So if you do want really good brakes, these are the 3 to go for. And like I say, these are just amazing for stopping. I would have showed you how well they are, but I'm not really the sort of person that likes to slam my brakes on a car, so you'll just have to believe us, they are really, really, really good. Go and test drive one and try for yourself, see how good you think they are, and they're awesome. The driving view, what's that like? Perfect. You can see absolutely everywhere. You do have your blind spot here, which you do on every car, but you can see everywhere. The viewing is perfect. The steering wheel feels, I don't don't know if it's because it's brand new, but it feels really nice. It's nice and soft and lovely, and the size is just right, perfect size. The only downfall is your turning circle is terrible, but the positive to put with that is the car goes wherever you want it to go. If you want a left, boom, you're there. If you want right, boom, you're to the right. If you took it on track, obviously that'll be its party piece, because this pretty much is a car that you want to take on track. As you'll know, in your driving modes, you've got track and you've got drift. Drift is a thing that I'm never ever going to use, and track, I've only went in that twice just to show my friend how rough of a ride it is, and it's really bumpy. The car as standard isn't comfortable at all, but you don't buy these cars for comfort. If you wanted comfort, you'd go for the Audi, the Merc, or the Golf. They're the three comfortable ones. This is the one that is not the comfortable one. Is it quick? There's no denying it's a quick car. I wish it did come out of the factory with 400 brake horsepower, but beggars can't be choosers. I've just got to have what I have got. I am tempted to go for the mount tune kit. I think it's 380 brake, it puts you up to. I've already ordered a K&N, but I might just go for the mount tune in future if I decide to keep the car. As you'll know, I don't tend to keep cars very long, so if I do, the mount tune kit is a definite thing to think about. Now, miles per gallon, what's it like? Terrible. It's really bad. Even on a run, I'm on the motorway at the moment, and I'll tell you how many miles per gallon I'm getting. I'm getting 26 miles per gallon, that's what I'm getting. So it's not very good at all. This car, it's more smiles per gallon, which it definitely does that. It's a really fun car, and I've had plenty of smiles out of it. As you can see, I'm smiling at the moment. It's a really fun car to drive. The engine, what does it sound like? The engine actually sounds really good. It's never going to sound as good as the Mark II with the 5-pot soundtrack. That's one of the best sounding engines that you can probably get. Other than a V6, a V8 or a V12, the 5-pot just does it for me. Awesome. This one, as standard, does sound good. As I mentioned in my walk around video, loads of people have been taking the sound deadening from underneath the bonnet, and they've got an induction kit to make it sound that a little bit better. I'm going to try it, but I haven't really got high hopes, but I will try to see what it sounds like. The pops and bangs will come out the back. Awesome, everyone loves pops and bangs. To be honest, sport mode is where you get most of the pops and bangs. You do get it in normal mode, but you get more in sport, and I'm finding myself pretty much 95% of the time in sport mode. I'm actually in sport mode now just to get the pops and the bangs. Another one to address is the audio. I know it's had loads of bad press and bad reviews, people saying it sounds rubbish. It doesn't sound rubbish, it just doesn't sound amazing. It's never going to sound as good as, say, a Harman Kardon or a Bose, reason being because it's not. But for everyday, day-to-day basics, it sounds fine. I've got my iPod plugged into it and it brings us everything up there. So rather than putting CDs in, you can just get a USB stick and plug it in there in FAT32 format. Make sure it's not NTFS. My iPod though, I think it's about an 8 or a 16 gig. I filled it up with just loads of random music, plugged it in, and it comes up straight away on there. And you do get the little pictures. I think I did throw that in on my walk around video. But as I mentioned, the sound, it sounds great to me. The DAB feature, fantastic. I use that all the time because I love Kistry, and I think it's called Absolute Rock. And you get loads of rock music. I don't look the rock type, but I do. I quite like a bit of rock music. The sat nav on this car is brilliant. It actually tells you which lane to go in. I've got an old TomTom and it's hopeless. When I went to pick the car up with John, it wasn't even telling us what lane to go in, so I ended up going in the wrong lane. I don't know how many times, but this actually does tell you. There's a name for it, but I kind of think what the name is. So anyways, that tells you. And another thing, the voice command, if you press the button and you tell it what route, it finds it straight away, whereas other voice command cars I've tried and they've just been hopeless, they've never worked, but this one actually does work. Another cool little feature that I only found out yesterday was if you sync your phone to the head unit, if someone texts you, it comes up on the screen what the text message is. The only way I found that out was Andy, the guy I got the car from, texted us last night and it came up on the screen, and I was really impressed. When you connect your phone to this, you can obviously send your contacts and stuff, it'll save them. So if you want to ring someone, you press the button and you tell it who you want it to ring. But it will send your music over there, because I was using that before I decided to use my iPod, and it's awesome. But the security on this car, it's got as standard the Thatcham alarm. But if I was you, I'd recommend a Ghost. If you're going to say what is a Ghost, I did mention it on my walk around video. It's when you first jump in the car, you kind of just start it on your steering wheel or down here on the cluster of buttons here. You can type in a code. I think it's between 4 and 8 digits. You type it in and then you can start the car. Without that, it just won't start. It'll just start flashing and everything. It'll go crazy. So that's a really good thing to have, because these are a high target car at the moment. People are pinching them. Another thing to have is a disc lock. If you're going to ask what's a disc lock, it's basically just a big disc what you put around the steering wheel, lock it, and it's more of a deterrent. You probably can get them off, but you're probably going to make quite a bit of noise, and the person whose car it is, you'll obviously hear them. Another thing to have, which isn't really security but it's just for peace of mind, is dash cam. Get yourself a dash cam. Mine's over there and always recording. I am going to hardwire it so it's recording constantly, but at the moment I've just got it plugged in the center console, so it's a really good thing to have. There's loads of people scamming. I'm going to swap lanes here because I'm not going as fast as I should be. There's loads of people scamming at the moment, or just slamming the brakes on in front of you and you'll go into them, and if you haven't got any proof, you'll be the one that gets wrong. But if you've got that on camera, obviously you can send that to your insurance company and the person in front will get wrong for it. What do I think of the car? Is it the best car I've ever had? I really don't know, because I've had so many cars and I've loved them all, and I've missed them. When they've drove off, I've been really sad. It's definitely my most fun car that I've had. As you can see, I've got a smile on my face. To be honest, I've always got a smile on my face when I'm driving the car. People probably drive past us and think, is that man on drugs? Why is he smiling so much? They probably will. They'll think I'm on some sort of drugs, but I'm not. It's just a fun car, and the pops and crackles, if I've got a straight serious face, that's me straight serious face. As soon as I hear a pop, I smile. You'll probably understand if you take one out and take it for a test drive. In fact, if you're after one of these cars, don't do one test drive, take quite a few out, just to make sure it's the car for you. As I mentioned, the comfort and stuff is a bit of a downfall for some people. For me, it's not. I'm fine. I really couldn't care about the ride quality. It's a little bit bumpy now, but it is what it is, and it's still awesome. Should I buy one? Well, that's totally up to you and personal preference, what you want in a car. If you want comfort, no, I wouldn't recommend this car. If you want comfort and build quality and speed, the A45 is probably the one to go for. You've got the other choices, which is the RS3 and the Golf R. I've never driven any of them, but if I was, it would probably be the A45 that I'd go for next. Next on the list is looks. What do I think of the car? I personally think the car looks beautiful, especially in this nitrous blue colour. In the sun, it just absolutely pops. The glitter in it is amazing. You would have thought fairies have sprinkled dust all over it or something like that. It's a 4-door, that's the only downfall that I can say about the exterior. I would have preferred a 2-door, but unfortunately they don't come in a 2-door. If I did want that, the alternative would have been the Golf R, because that's the only one that does come in a 2-door. But obviously, as you can see, I've bought the car and that didn't put me off. Looks, do people look at the car? When I first got it, I honestly didn't think anyone was looking. It wasn't until my passengers were saying, God, everyone's looking at this car, and I was like, really, are you sure? Since then, I've been looking about, and it does turn a lot of heads. I didn't buy the car for that reason. A Lamborghini and a Ferrari, Porsche, they're the ones that obviously turn the heads, but this, to some people, is just an everyday Ford Focus. I went around one of my friends who I haven't seen for a few months yesterday, and he says, what's that? I said a Ford Focus RS. He was like, oh, alright, is that a fast one? Is it expensive? I was like, yeah, it's pretty quick and it's pretty expensive. So some people will just think it's an everyday Ford Focus. End the video here, and I'm going to go home because it's starting to rain now, and hopefully I've got enough footage on the video. If you have got any questions or queries or anything you just want to ask us in general, leave a comment below, and as always, I'll get straight back to you.